Good morning, everyone. So, bit of a tour of the backyard. It's a bit of a disaster area at the moment. No, it's a lot of a disaster area at the moment because we've only just moved in and we're in the middle of doing 100 different projects trying to get things sorted out, and we haven't got everything put away yet. So we've still got a lot of stuff to move around and unpack and sort and chuck and go through. But that aside, here's the tour. So this is the backyard. So that's the back door. So this is a general overview. Our nice new water tank. Very excited about that. The outdoor shower that Gavin made, which got a bit of water in it when it rained last. One outdoor shower, which we needed this to set up for Mum because she couldn't use the indoor shower for quite a long time. Although she can use it now, but after her hip operation she's not going to be able to use the indoor shower either. So this is a garden bed that I've made up since being here. It's not doing real great because it's just, there's not enough, we haven't had enough rain. So this basically didn't have any plants or organic matter in it really. It had a couple of it had those big plants in it that weren't really doing much because they were all up tall and you couldn't see any flowers that were on there, so I've trimmed them all right back. But they're probably not the type of plant that I want anyway, so I'll probably end up planting some chocos or passion fruit or kiwi fruit or something like that. So I've planted some herbs. So this is my tomatoes. It's looking very sad because it's not getting enough water. And most of that was just after the accident because it took me about a week to be able to get out here and actually look at anything. And I totally forgot to ask anyone to water it. On these, I actually cleared this out before Gavin did the gutters. So there was no leaves here. And now my garden's covered in leaves. Anyway, I got a chocolate mint under here somewhere. There you go, little chocolate mint. Buried by leaves. But yeah, so I've got a bit of parsley, got some snapdragons, calendula that's not flowering. That's just a tree that I'm trying to do. Rosemary, hopefully I can get to grow. I'm pretty sure that mulberry's died. Some Queen Anne's lace that the goat ate. Some bamboo that I'm trying to strike. I had some macadamias that I tried to recover from the other house because I had little seedlings that were growing under the trees, but they all died because I didn't get them into pots because of the accident. So another little snapdragon there. Some oregano, which has been completely buried by Gavin clearing out the gutters, but the gutters were more important than the plants. Some dill, some lavender that I'm trying to strike, which that may fail completely. This garden bed doesn't get a lot of sun, but it seems to get enough to cause it problems. Got some parsley, some Queen Anne's lace that the goats ate again, so it's not doing great, but it's okay. Some mulberry cuttings that I'm trying to strike. Some normal garden mint that the boys keep eating. There's some Malabar spinach down there too. It's a curry leaf tree that I'm trying to strike for a friend. Some flat leaf parsley that I just pulled out of the ground at the other house. My moringas. I am so pleased. My moringas are actually doing well. They're nearly, I should probably look at trying to prepare a spot for them to go. Some lemongrass that Tyler gave me. Thank you, Tyler. My Monstera Delicio is getting too much sun. It is not happy here. I need to find it another home. It needs to be planted out. I should have planted it out months ago, but just didn't get to it. Some more lemongrass from Tyler, which is doing really, really well. I'm really pleased with the lemongrass. I need to plant it out into the garden because I've got a few ideas on it. I've seen a few people. Oh, this is peppermint. It's not doing great, but it's not doing terribly. It's a couple of little echina and the top of a ponytail. Some more lemongrass. But yeah, self-sufficient me, he actually lines his fence with lemongrass, which I think is a fantastic idea. So I'm thinking about doing that out the front. And some plants for Mum. And one dead moringa. But that's that's a little garden down the side in between the shed and the carport. And this is where we've been having a lot of problems since we got here, that when it rains, it just floods in here. Like this water that's here is from the rain we got like 2 days ago. We only got 4 mil of rain. But we're hoping that we've fixed that problem now. I mean, Gavin's taken down all the tin that was there, which is that, so that he could actually clean out the gutters, which is all of that. But we have noticed that that end was pooling full of water, but this end was so chock-a-block full of leaves that we just couldn't get to because of the tin that was there, and we couldn't take that down until we owned the place, which we now do. Well, the bank owns most of it, but we own some of it. So we still need to prop up that end bit of gutter and raise it up a bit so that the water's actually all coming down this way. But we've now got it so that it's going straight into that water tank, whereas before it had a very long run of pipe that was actually slightly going uphill, which is not good for gutters, to go into that water tank, and had another pipe that was going out there and going into that tank. So, and that tank could just fill up and overflow, which was pretty useless really. So we've got a nice big shed here, but the shed is actually full of stuff that's not ours. So we're still waiting for it to be cleared out. So hence the reason why a lot of our stuff is outside still. So yeah, then we've got that patch over there that I'm hoping, that paddock over there that I'm hoping to actually turn into a bit of a food forest area. Actually, I'm planning on turning this whole middle section into a food forest. At least that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. Gavin might have other ideas. Some bird aviaries over there and that I'm not using, so I haven't been using those ones at the moment because they're just too far away. We got a clothesline, which is always good. Love my clothesline. So these beds here next to the chicken coops I've put in since we've been here, but the chickens keep trying to dig it up. Between the chickens and the guinea fowls and the goats, my gardens don't have a lot of hope. So this pen's actually mostly full of roosters. Most of them I've actually hatched since we've been here. So yeah, they're going to be going to freezer camp in the not too distant future, but I don't want to, they're not going to go to freezer camp straight from here, because I want to be able to have them onto the moving on grass for at least a week or two before I do that. Some plants that I've just planted up that I'm getting ready to go put into the dam, and I'll do a video of the dam. I have done a video, previous videos of the dam, but I'll do another one soon. I've got a little moringa there that the guinea fowl tried to bury. Some more tomato, an elderberry that I've planted. Some more tomato. The parsley and the dill are doing pretty good, aside from the fact that they occasionally run out of water and dehydrate. I'm still adjusting to the fact that it's so much drier out here. And the soil's got no organic matter. None. There's no organic matter in this soil. Well, not none. It's very limited, so it doesn't, its water holding capacity is very, very limited until you get to the clay level, which is just a problem. I've also got some chamomile there too. And over here, this has just been treaded all over by the guinea fowl. Got some Queen Anne's lace and some tansy and some rue and some pella, or tree spinach, or Queensland spinach, or island spinach growing there. And I chucked in a bit of cassava or tapioca root branch. Oh, when we first moved in, I thought it actually died, but it's actually sprung up, so I'm really happy about that. Got some comfrey coming up, which I did plant it, and the goats and the chickens and the guinea fowl keep decimating it, so I've actually put these things here to try and stop the guinea fowl from attacking them, because I've actually released the guinea fowl now. Another bird pen. That's actually where I had the guinea fowl, and I was hoping they'd go in at night, but they haven't gone back there. But it's okay, they're obviously roosting up in the trees, so they're finding a safe place. So there are a lot of trees out the back here. We had the same at the front, but they were causing a lot of problems to our drinking water, so we had to take those down. Sorry about that. So yeah, the trees were all all up the front. So I basically surrounded the front of the property, but they were all clogging up the gutters, and the leaves were fermenting in the gutters, which was tainting the water, which is never a good thing. See, Gavin set that IBC system up for me, and we pump water out of the dam into that. I'll do a tour at the back section of the property another day. We've got this little hay shed here. Well, I don't know whether it's a hay shed. It's what I use for a little hay shed. So I put my hay in here when I've got it for the goats. Just a little shed that I got stuff in for the animals. Then we got more of my mobile pens and some of my chickens. This is my guinea fowl. So guinea fowl are really good for getting rid of ticks and alerting you to the presence of snakes. And so I've just moved the chickens from here at the moment, so I just moved them to down there. So the guinea fowl are having fun cleaning up leftover food that the chickens left behind. And I got my Rhode Island Reds. So I'm really looking forward to being able to have all of these guys out in mobile pens moving around the property, but at the moment the stationary pens are being very helpful. So I've just got the chickens in there on deep mulch. Got a couple of roosters over here that are getting ready for freezer camp. So these boys are definitely ready for freezer camp, and just got them so that I'm moving them around regularly so they're on fresh grass. Not that there's much grass. So yeah, got a few trees that I've planted in pots. I had to bare root everything before I brought it over. So I've got my ponytail. I've had that for many years, that one. Mum's Brazilian nut. Is it Brazilian nut? No, it's not a Brazilian nut. I can't remember what that one's called. Pine nut? No, not pine nut. Don't know. That's an olive. Some other plants that I brought over. Some other plants that I've killed. Everything's needing a lot of attention. There's some plants that I've got that I'm preparing garden beds for. So yeah, then we come to the back of the house. Set that up for Mum, but then it didn't work, so yeah, then we got the aquaponics. And the kitchen's just through those windows, behind all my aquaponic stuff that desperately needs to be sorted out. All my basil plants that have all gone to seed. The sheep sorrel. Yeah, the aquaponics isn't doing too badly, but it's not doing great either. And now it's starting to get too hot. Half the problem with it at the moment is the fish are just too little. So they need to get bigger before they're creating enough nutrients for the system. And this is quite small. We've recently had some palm trees chopped down over here. Because they were just not where we wanted them. And those particular palms, oh, and there was a fig tree that was chopped down too. I've got to keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't sprout back. It's a big job. There's a lot of work in here to clean this mess I heap. And I'll be able to use the palm fronds. Palm fronds are a really good source of silica and potassium, I think it is, for composting and all that sort of stuff. So I will use those palm fronds, but they'll be under a lot of wood chips, which I did get a lot of wood chips from getting those trees chopped down. And that's the big mound over there. So I've got a big patch of aloe vera, huge patch of aloe vera. So if you want any aloe vera, feel free to come over and pick some up. There's lots of it. And the goats and the chickens won't eat it. Go figure. We've got our composting toilet system bays here waiting. Just they'll be sitting for at least 2 years before we start putting them into the fruit trees, around fruit trees and all that sort of stuff. Got some lovely little finches. They are so tiny. And they move really quickly, so it's quite difficult to get over there and get closer so you can have a look. Sorry. I don't have a great zoom on my phone. So yes, and we had to take down a heap of barbed wire that was here so that the trees could get taken down. And we don't want the barbed wire anyway. So we've got plans of setting up, oh, that's our other new tank, and that was the existing tank that was here, which is quite low on water, really hoping for a lot more rain. Otherwise we're going to have to buy in a truck of water. And we've got to work out something with the grey water system, because at the moment it just comes through this pipe, and that pipe keeps coming undone, which is quite annoying. I keep putting it back together, but it keeps coming undone, so I'm not quite sure why it's coming undone, but it is, and it's a problem. But anyway, so we've got a nice undercover clothesline there for wet weather. So we've still got the stumps from the palm trees here, but they're not a huge problem because we can always deal with those later. The tree lop, there was going to cost us an extra $100 a stump to have them ground out, and we decided that we weren't going to worry about that because they'll eventually break down and decompose, so that's not a huge drama. Now over here, where Gavin's planning on setting up the aquaponics system and a nursery for me. So this is the eastern side of the house, so it gets the sun in the morning and it's shaded from the sun in the afternoons, although not hugely because the house is it's only a low set house. But you can see here in the hole that Gavin's been digging, I'm not quite sure why there's a shovel in there, probably one of the boys. That's the soil we're dealing with. It's got, that's actually the deepest part of what you might call topsoil in the area. Most of the property goes straight down to the clay level quite quickly, and the clay level is basically from there down. So, and there's very little organic matter, very little life in the soil at all. So it's going to take a lot to repair this, but that's okay. And we're not trying to repair it here. Gavin's actually planning on putting an IBC, well, possibly that one actually, an IBC in there as a sump for the aquaponics, so it'll be nice and down deep, because at the moment we have a lot of problems with keeping the water levels right, because the bed's draining and flooding all the time. If you've got all of the beds full, then the pump becomes uncovered, so then it's not going to suck any more water, so then it's not going to do the draining part, and it just doesn't work. So if we've got the sump buried in the ground, then there's more head pressure for there's more water over the top of the actual pump. So yeah, so this is where the aquaponics is going to go. We've got a lot of plans, a lot of ideas, a lot of things that we need to look at. But that's basically the back of the house yard plus a little bit. So our side property boundary is that fence over there on that side, and I'll take you over to the other side, although I'm not really supposed to be walking very much at the moment because I've got plantar fasciitis. Well, actually the podiatrist says it's plantar fasciosis now in my foot, which is incredibly painful. And I'm not supposed to be walking. But I had to come out and look after the chickens this morning, and I had those pond plants to plant. So, sorry, a few flies around. It's coming into summer, and that's one problem we will have out here, is there do end up being a lot of flies. I'm hoping that I can plant things around the place that'll help to deter them, and I'm using some natural fly traps as well, which are helping significantly. But at the moment the chickens being in the coops isn't helping at all actually. So our boundary on the other side is just where that white post is. So that white post there, so the trees, there's a driveway, well, not a driveway, it's a place for a car to be able to drive on our property in between that tree and that post. But that post is basically our boundary for that side. So yeah, so that's that. And I'll give you a tour of other parts of the property and that in another video. So yeah, have a great one. Bless you.